Good day, everyone. You're welcome to this week's Business and Investment Tips program, a production of Christ Church Radio with Ayodeji Ebo, an investment professional. This week, the focus is on the federal government of Nigeria's 2022 budget performance. Last week, the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning published an update on its budget performance for the first 4 months of the year, January to April 2022. This update helps us evaluate the federal government's actual performance in light of the approved and amended budget for 2022 and provides us with a guide on what to expect for the rest of the year. According to the report, the federal government's aggregate and actual earnings from January to April 2022 came in at 1.63 trillion naira, falling short of the pro rata budget of 3.32 trillion by 51%. The underperformance of revenue can mainly be linked to the poor performance in oil revenue, which settled at 285.38 billion or 39% of its target of 730.12 billion and contributed only 19% to total revenue. Non-oil revenue, on the other hand, reached 632.56 billion versus the pro rata target of 752.80 billion naira, achieving a performance of 84%. The sector also contributed 42% to revenue earned, compared to a target of 27%. Value-added tax and company income tax collections were 298.83 billion and 102.97 billion respectively, with performances of 99% and 98% relative to target. Similarly, customs collection, which includes import duties, excise and fees, and federation account special levies, also came in strong at 210.02 billion with a performance of 75%. The federal government's revenue has been under immense pressure from a drop in crude oil production due to pipeline vandalism and crude oil theft, as well as high subsidy costs due to the elevated landing cost of imported petroleum products. The underperformance of other revenue sources like independent revenue also contributed to revenue constraints. The federal government's total expenditure between January and April 2022 was 4.72 trillion against a pro rata budget of 5.77 trillion, indicating that 82% of the budget was implemented. Debt service also came in at 1.94 trillion, exceeding its target by 47%, owing to unbudgeted interest payment of 405.93 billion naira on the Central Bank of Nigeria's Ways and Means facility to the federal government, which is the Central Bank of Nigeria's lending facility to the federal government. With this, debt service to actual revenue ratio stood at 119%, indicating that the cost of servicing the federal government's debt outweighed the actual revenue generated. This is worrisome, as this suggests that the federal government technically borrows to finance debt servicing. Personal costs made up 77.3% of total revenue, highlighting Nigeria's high cost of governance. In terms of capital expenditure, only 773 billion of the 1.82 trillion allocated was disbursed during the period, representing a 42% implementation rate. Due to this, the ratio of capital expenditure to total expenditure came in at 16% against 31% target. The capital expenditure portion, which provides more impact and engenders growth, suffers implementation issues when revenue are weak due to its discretionary nature. The performance shows that the federal government faces a severe revenue challenge despite higher crude prices due to the impact of lower oil production and high petrol subsidies. A strategy needs to be developed to phase out subsidies gradually, as the cost will only continue to grow and hurt fiscal finances. By 2023, PMS subsidies are expected to reach 6.75 trillion, that is 6.4% higher than the 2022 projected revenue of 6.34 trillion naira. Thank you for listening. Please join us same time next week for another exciting and insightful session. For questions, comments, and feedback, kindly forward to ebo.ayodeji@gmail.com or send SMS to 0708 246 3747. Stay blessed.